On Friday the 13th of December this year, Gateshead's main arterial flyover that runs through the heart of Gateshead down to the Tyne Bridge, about 1 kilometre long, carrying 40,000 vehicles back and forwards per day, was closed, probably permanently, after a safety inspection was carried out, causing traffic mayhem over fears that the flyover could in effect collapse at any time due to one or two of the supporting pillars crumbling. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about how the flyover has managed to get to this state, what it means for the future, but I've also had a chance to speak to one of the supervising engineers down here at the moment, and he's told me how this problem has all come about. It's coming up. Welcome back, it's Eddie here from Tyneside Live. First of all, apologies being a little bit late to the party on this one, although this is still a developing story because for the past couple of weeks I've actually been under the weather with a bit of a virus. But I'm back to full fighting strength now, and I think it's about time we started to talk about this debacle of a situation where the main flyover running through Gateshead is now closed, probably permanently, until it's dismantled in a few years' time. Now, not only is this causing significant transport disruption, not least because at the moment the Tyne Bridge is going through a 4-year period of a complete refurbishment where the 4 lanes of the Tyne Bridge are going down to 2 lanes, in itself has been causing huge tailbacks and hold-ups during peak times. We now have the Gateshead flyover completely closed, so you can just imagine what this situation is like. But also, the main offending pillar that is crumbling sits directly over the metro tunnel. So for the past few days, there have been no metros running between Heworth and the monument. Now, for me, personally, that means I can get the metro from Pelo to Heworth. I have to get off at Heworth Metro and then get the replacement bus service, the 900 from Heworth. It can go all the way to Monument, but for the past few days when I've been coming into town, I've been getting off in Gateshead and doing some filming, etc. So all around, it's causing huge problems. Nexus, of course, have been involved as well because of the safety concerns of the integrity of the infrastructure of the tunnel underneath should the flyover collapse at any moment. And as we speak, actually, for the past couple of days, engineers here at the scene have been putting a huge contraption under that offending pillar to pin it for safety reasons, so then at the very least metros can run underneath. Hopefully by certainly Tuesday at the latest is my understanding. It might go on a little bit longer, but having spoken to one of the engineers down here, and it's Sunday the 29th, he said the mechanism, the pinning machine, will be raised and supporting the flyover in the next few hours. Now, if you didn't know, the flyover was built about 60 years ago during a time of huge redevelopment for Newcastle and Gateshead town centres in terms of the buildings, the transport infrastructure. There's brutalist architecture that was popping up all over the place. Slum clearance schemes were making way for new housing estates, but we had flyovers and walkways all over the place, completely redesigning our towns and cities in the UK as well. And that's when the flyover was built, going through the heart of Gateshead, because this was the old A1 running from where the A1 is now through Lower Fell down to the Tyne Bridge. That now is called Durham Road, the A167, the old A1, and that is the route now. This is the section that we're talking about, this 1 kilometre section of flyover which is causing the problems. So when the news broke that the flyover was to be closed over safety concerns, Gateshead's Labour Council leader Martin Gannon has went on record to say that the flyover has funding in place because it was due to be demolished by the end of the decade anyway, due to its age, but that was probably going to be brought forward. He has also said that several attempts have been made for some funding from central government, the Department of Transport, over safety concerns in relation to the bridge and ongoing maintenance, but that funding has never come through, according to him. Well, I'm not buying into this attempt by the likes of Martin Gannon to deflect any sense of responsibility over the situation that we find ourselves in. I mean, look, across Britain, our councils are hemorrhaging. It doesn't matter if it's Labour, Conservative or Liberal councils. Councils have no money. we're a broken and crumbling Britain, and this is an example of that. What this has showed, whether it's the fault of Martin Gannon or a predecessor or a whole department or several departments, this has shown over several years lack of leadership and lack of strength to bang drums, to make things happen and to get things done. Another prime example is the state of the Tyne Bridge. For years it's been neglected to the point where it is standing as a giant rust bucket. This is a regional landmark. It's a monument that's recognised all over Britain and all over the world as well, and it's the state that bridge is in is an absolute embarrassment. Somebody or a department is to blame for not getting a grip of these situations early enough and making things happen in terms of getting funding from the right people, probably from central government. And this flyover situation is another example of that. So Gateshead Council and other stakeholders are going to have to take responsibility for the situation that we now find ourselves in, because this is going to go on for years. I'm not sure if the pinning of that particular pillar is going to allow any traffic over the top. Probably not. It's certainly going to allow the metro to travel underneath. You just kind of begin to imagine this is an arterial route through Gateshead, and the traffic congestion for years to come that is going to be caused in Gateshead in Newcastle. In addition to that, there's also been concerns raised about the safety integrity of the Redheugh Bridge, which is already being used more because of the refurbishment over the Tyne Bridge. Now, there have been safety inspections, and apparently there are no immediate safety concerns for vehicles going over the Redheugh Bridge. But that could change at any time, because it's clearly going to be used more and more over the coming months. So how exactly have we got to this point? Well, having spoken to one of the engineers down here, the drainage system of the flyover all converges over one particular supporting pillar, and it does get regularly inspected, but they had a more of an in-depth inspection. They had to take some of the concrete away to have a look underneath, and it's there that they've seen that the drainage system has deteriorated to such a point that water's been seeping through and eroding the infrastructure of the pillar. Now, so that's not causing any problems with any of the other pillars. Just that's the main one where the drainage has been converging, and that's where the problem has been caused. And that's the one that's sitting directly over the metro tunnel. And that's why today, in the next couple of days, they're putting that huge machine underneath to pin it. Now, does that mean that when it's in place, vehicles will be able to use the flyover again? They don't know. They say that's going to have to be made by individuals way above their pay grade, who will inspect it and make that critical decision, because that's going to be a massive decision, because nobody wants a situation where a flyover collapses and dozens of cars fall on top of dozens of cars underneath. So it's going to be really interesting to see how all this develops. It is fair to say now that departments are pulling together. It's all hands to the pump. The regional North East Mayor, Kim McGuinness, is now involved. She had a meeting a few days ago with the Transport Secretary, Heidi Alexander, the Gateshead MP, Mark Ferguson, and of course Gateshead's Labour leader, Martin Gannon, to see how we're going to move all this forward. Kim McGuinness has pledged regional resources, I take that to mean money as well, into doing whatever needs to be done to get this flyover back up and running. So there we have it. I'm hoping at the very least the metros will be running underneath Gateshead by New Year's Eve, so me and Helen can go out on the lash. But as regards to the flyover, are they going to bring forward the demolition of the flyover, which in itself is going to take a couple of years, or will it be allowed to be used? It's going to be fascinating to hear. So let me know your thoughts. Have you been affected by the flyover being closed, trying to get in or out of Newcastle? Drop your comments below. All right, I'm off for a coffee, and I'll catch you very, very soon.